The silence hit first. Not the kind that comes after a roar, but the kind that freezes your chest when you realize something unbelievable has just happened. Inside the Dodgers' world, a number began to circulate quietly, and when it did, jaws dropped. It wasn't a home run. It wasn't a trade. It wasn't even a championship ring. It was money. Sudden, shocking money. The kind of money that makes grown men stop breathing for a second and whisper, "You could live for years on that." 75 million yen. About $500,000. An emergency bonus. A temporary reward that felt anything but temporary to those who heard it. This wasn't supposed to be a headline. It was never meant to be public drama. But when word leaked out of the Dodgers clubhouse, reactions ranged from disbelief to quiet envy, and even to something deeper, existential shock. Because for many inside professional baseball, this wasn't just a bonus. It was a life-altering moment. Imagine grinding for years. Minor leagues, long bus rides, cheap meals, uncertain futures. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, comes a check big enough to change how you see tomorrow. One staff member reportedly said it out loud without thinking, "I could survive for several years with this." Not thrive, not splurge, survive. And that single word told the entire story. The Dodgers are known for their stars, their payroll, their power. But behind the bright lights are hundreds of people holding the machine together, trainers, analysts, coordinators, staff who never touch the spotlight. And on this day, the spotlight found them anyway. Eyes widened. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Phones were checked again and again, as if the number might disappear if they looked away too long. This wasn't jealousy toward superstars. This was something different. This was the realization of how fragile, normal, life inside elite sports really is. When you hear about Shohei Ohtani's contract, it feels unreal. Billions of yen. Numbers that belong to another universe. But this bonus, this hit close to home. Because this was reachable money. Money that pays mortgages. Money that erases debt. Money that lets you breathe. And that's why it hurt just a little, even for those who smiled. Inside the clubhouse, reactions were carefully controlled. Professionals always are. But behind closed doors, reality crept in. Some thought of their families. Some thought of years they had struggled quietly. Some thought, for the first time in a long time, maybe I don't have to worry for a while. That's the kind of impact no stat sheet can capture. The Dodgers didn't announce it with fireworks. There was no press conference. No victory lap. Just a quiet decision that sent emotional shockwaves through the organization. And yet, envy followed admiration like a shadow. Not ugly envy. Human envy. The kind that asks, what if that were me? Baseball is a dream, but it's also a business. And moments like this tear away the romance and expose the truth underneath. Most people in this game live season to season, contract to contract, hope to hope. This bonus reminded everyone just how thin the line really is. For some, it felt like validation. Years of loyalty finally seen. For others, it felt like distance. A reminder of where they stand, and where they don't. And for fans, once the story broke, reactions exploded. Must be nice. Life-changing. I'd never work another day the same way. Because deep down, everyone understands what it means when money suddenly stops being the enemy. But here's the twist no one expected. This wasn't about greed. It wasn't about excess. It was about stability. About dignity. About the quiet relief that comes when survival is no longer the main battle. That's why this story spread so fast. Not because of the Dodgers. Not because of the yen. But because it touched something universal. The fear of not having enough. The dream of finally having just enough. In a sport obsessed with numbers, this number meant more than wins or losses. It meant time. It meant rest. It meant a future that didn't feel so fragile. And when the initial shock faded, something else replaced it. Gratitude. Not loud, not dramatic, but heavy, real. Because in a game where careers can end in a single pitch, moments like this remind everyone why they endure the grind. The Dodgers didn't just hand out money that day. They handed out peace of mind. And maybe that's why, long after the headlines move on and the season rolls forward, this temporary bonus will be remembered as something far bigger. A reminder that behind every logo, every superstar, every billion-dollar deal, there are human lives waiting for one moment to finally exhale.